Everybody, to the Minions of the Zoo Tuesday edition. I'm your keeper this evening, Skep Tock, and with me I have Minions Jenna,
Hola, Centorita. Or
Serenity
Centoriters.
Star,
Hello.
Adam of Clan Veggie the First,
Crash, Course, Karturs, Tours, Marku. Wait, I don't know Klingon, so.
yeah, stick with
don't know.
Chicago,
Yeah.
and the Harry Channel.
Good evening.
It is so nice to hear all of your voices, and honored to be joined by you all. And I'm going to go and do the kind of traditional thing. Jenna, how was your day today?
I had 3 doctor's appointments.
So pretty typical day.
And
Lots of injections.
Yep, the nerve block went great. The one with my pharmacologist, she's going on to a different job in a different state, so I'm getting a new one. And I had to get an ultrasound for my liver and my lung and just organs.
Yeah.
And that wasn't fun because I'd rather get more injections in the head than have to do that again. Oh, sorry. It was painful because my pancreas, they were pushing on my pancreas with the ultrasound machine.
Mm-hmm.
And my pancreas hurts. So that was just, but other than that, my mother ended up in the ER, but she did not have a stroke and she's home now. So it's a good day.
So it's a good day. Kind of a medical day for you, but a good day. How about you, Serenity? Yeah. How was your day? Serenity, I'll bet, is off doing...
No, my computer decided it wanted to be weird. It's like,
alrighty.
You need to update now. No, I don't.
I have an area.
My day's been good. So it's been hot, but it's summertime. What the hell am I going to do about it?
How hot is it up there?
There's a joke in there, but no. I think the high today was 95.
Oh my gosh.
Again, we're a very humid state too, which makes it suck. So it's like 90% humidity around here. So it's fun.
I'm only about 6 hours above you, and it was the high today was 68.
You're also on the ocean time.
What else has to do with the fact that I live technically, because West Virginia is nothing but mountains, the entire thing's the Ohio Valley, but technically I live near the Ohio River, and the Ohio Valley just in the summertime fucks us, and then in the wintertime fucks us, because we can get down to -10 in the winter. So it's all kinds of fun.
I was in a sweatshirt. It's the humidity that kills you.
Well, yesterday it was 60-something for us, so I think you probably got what our weather was yesterday.
Oh, great. That means the 95's coming.
Man. Your weather is very similar to Virginia weather, particularly Western Virginia, obviously. But I do not miss that weather at all. I mean, everybody from everywhere says, if you don't like the weather here in blank, just wait a minute. Everybody says that about everywhere, but there are very few places where that's actually true.
Yeah.
West Virginia is actually one of those places.
Oh yeah,
it really is a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, kind of a place with respect to the weather.
Oh yeah, no, it's real fun because we haven't hit full what we jokingly around here call stormy season. We haven't really hit that full, but it'll thunder, lightning, trees are moving because the wind's blowing so strong for 15 minutes, and then sunshine. It's just like, can you stop being schizophrenic? Can you make up your mind? Nope.
No. The answer is no. The answer is consistently no. And the answer will be no for the next 58 million years. It's just the way it is.
Well, it's mixture of the fact that we are so close to the east, to the Atlantic, by comparison to a lot of other people, and the mixture of the Ohio River, which feeds into the Mississippi, which has its own issues. And then we are nothing but mountains, because West Virginia, if you look at a topography map, it's just mountains and hills. So it just stuff. Thankfully, the chance of tornadoes happening here is massively low because of it, but it can cause stuff like the best showcase of this is in the wintertime. In the wintertime, you can be 3 miles down the road from where I am and get a foot of snow, and I don't even get 2 inches.
Ooh,
Yeah, that happens with me too. My grandmother lives not even a mile from us, and we could have completely different.
Yeah.
You know, it could be snowing at her house, but not here, or it could be raining at her house.
Yeah, I have friends who live out hollers who were like, "How did you get out?" I was like, "Because there was nothing on the road." I don't understand what you're asking me.
Yeah.
The East Coast, it's a bucket of fun.
It's insane.
It is.
Oh, no.
Adam, how was your day, bud?
Well, it was also pretty hot. The wind was nice, you know, when the breeze came in, but eventually it became a hot breeze, and you didn't want that. But no, other than that, it was just you know, it was Tuesday.
Yeah.
Bison quote.
If it's Tuesday, this must be Belgium. That was actually a book, believe it or not. And so we get to the Harry channel. Harry, how you doing, bud?
It's okay. It was a hot day in California.
How hot was it?
Well, in Silicon Valley, it was triple digits.
Whoa.
The
But
highest.
no humidity.
Yeah, I mean, so parts of California were above 110. Silicon Valley was, many parts of it were like 103.
And you're not
range.
talking about the Death Valley part of California.
No.
You're talking about where humans live.
Well, I mean, is Reading a place where humans live?
Well, yeah, that's fairly debatable.
If you look at, I think it was about 110 in Sacramento. It was really hot in the Central Valley.
Isn't that unusual for Sacramento?
Not really.
Sacramento gets really hot. It gets really hot.
So here's California summer weather 101. If you're near the ocean, the air from the ocean dominates and it's much cooler. So if you're anywhere near the beach on an average day in the summer, it's going to be pretty comfortable. And if you're a little bit inland, still going to be really nice. What happens is if offshore flow develops, then the warm air comes from, everything from South Dakota down, picks up every single allergen that is possible in the air, and then drives it in and blows it straight up my nose to make me feel terrible. So I can usually forecast the weather without using any scientific tools at all in the summer. Like if I'm suddenly going, man, I don't feel so good. My nose is running and my eyes. And it's like as soon as the allergies kick in, I'm like, oh crap, tomorrow's going to be hot. I can just tell that that's the direction the wind's coming from. So it's going to be the big, hot, and nasty. It was a pretty warm day in California.
Wow.
But the power grid actually managed to hold up okay. I remember I mentioned on the Saturday show that they were going to start taxing solar panels.
Well,
Because
Harry,
rich people have solar panels, therefore that's a good revenue source. So why not tax solar panels?
I was actually going to ask you, I was going to do it later in the show, but I would like to do that now. Can you explain to the class what the hell is going on with them taxing and basically hosing anybody who has taken the solar plunge?
Well, it's pretty much about money. Originally, when PG&E and Southern California Edison didn't want to build expensive new power plants, they thought it would be good to have people generate solar on their rooftops. And because the sun comes out when the energy demand is the highest, everybody wins. You get a little bit off on your electric bill, and you get and they don't have to build new power plants. So they avoid a big expense. Everybody wins. Win, win, win for everybody. But in the new world of equity, poor people who don't own houses don't benefit from this. And what they're claiming is that people who have limited means, who can't afford a house to own, or like renters,
Wait,
don't get the benefit from the solar
gotcha.
stuff.
Yeah.
So what we should do is just tax, since obviously rich people are the ones with the solar panels, we should just tax the solar panels. Then we'll use a little bit of that money to have programs that do community solar that might help poorer people. But most of it's just going to go to padding the pockets and the bonuses of the people who run PG&E in Southern California Edison.
You got to be kidding me.
No,
So
I wish I was.
They have found a way to tax sunlight.
It's like putting a gasoline tax on sneakers because it's you're not maintaining the roads with your big old heavy feet. But the main thing is
they're punishing you because you did what they told you to.
Yes, they're going to punish people for doing what they told them to do. Because it's working. The plan is working too well.
And because poor people can't afford it, well, it's not, well, that's life. It's,
here's a smart person, Jenna. The idea,
sounds like a conspiracy theory.
The idea is that if you want to make things better than they are, you incentivize people to do something that's a public good, right?
Right.
Less carbon, don't have to build new power plants. Everybody wins. But the thing is, not everybody wins equally. And in this brave new world that we're building, they're using equity as an excuse to basically just peg all of the people who've already bought solar. Now, they've got a bunch of really clever plans. They're forcing people to put solar on new things so they can enjoy that new tax. It's like, well, you're going to pay an electric bill regardless of what you do.
If you do a new build in California for the last 3 years, you have to put, I think, 30% solar panel.
Something like that. I mean, it depends on the details of location and other things. But the main thing is that today, in record high temperatures, they had 55 gigawatts of power available to them, and they only used at the peak 35. Even a few years ago, they would have been putting out power alerts because there wouldn't be enough power to cover all this stuff.
That interesting.
But there's so much green energy going into the grid. I mean, it's not 100%, but it's so much that it has basically made these hot, miserable days pretty darn survivable.
Yeah.
But but that helps the poor people, though.
Yeah, because their power doesn't get turned up. Exactly.
So it's a win-win, and things aren't fair, things aren't equal, and they never will be. And it's not because we don't care about poor, rich, medium, whatever.
Jenna, you can make everybody equal if you saw off enough legs.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Good luck sawing off my leg. It's titanium.
Well, they just have to use a special saw. But but that's nothing is. The world is inherently unfair. There are children who die of cancer. There are people who are better looking than other people, taller, healthier, richer. Just by being born in the United States, you're already way ahead of most people on this planet. And it is not the Public Utilities Commission's job to equalize society. It's their job. It's their job to figure out how much power costs and what's an acceptable rate of return for the public utility. That's their job. That's their only job. That's it. That's all your job is. Your job is not to levy taxes on people, as an unelected group of idiots.
They want to be better than just their job, though, Harry. They want to do more good. They want to help you more by taking more of your money away. Soon you won't own anything, and you'll be
happy. Yeah.
Everybody should pay 10% taxes.
They got rid of the "and be happy" thing. They've actually reformulated it. They'll say and be what was it? Psychologically satisfied. I think they actually took the term "happy" away, so you're not even going to get to be happy now in the Great Reset.
Okay, I know how to make you guys feel better in this heavy subject of losing power in California because whatever. Here's a joke for my 5-year-old daughter, Joey. Are you ready?
Ready.
What does Delaware wear? What does Delaware put on?
I give up.
New Jersey.
I'd rather be in Philadelphia.
You don't want in New Jersey?
I have a joke for you, Skep. It's a little off color.
When I need her. Go. Yes, hit me up.
It's not from your 5-year-old?
Why do women like vibrators so much?
I liked it.
Because it always sounds like they're listening.
Oh shit!
No, that's not a bad joke, actually.
I thought you needed cheering up.
I'm glad my 5-year-old joke was appropriate.
You know,
I like your joke though.
Oh, that's hot.
Sorry.
Oh man.
I like that. You know, it's when nobody asked me how my day was, but I had.
Hey, Skep, how was your day, Skep?
I wasn't. Did we go full round?
Yeah, all the way around. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Prospero.
It was a.
Does that.
So there you go.
It was a tomato harvesting day, and we have our first significant cantaloupe, several significant watermelons, and we're producing tomatoes like, you know, Del Monte. It's
nice.
Just really just tremendous harvest of tomatoes. Snapped beans till my fingers were going to fall off. And, you know, it's funny because you may think this odd. I do all my farming with no shoes on. I am one of these barefoot people. I have hobbit feet, you know. I just am barefoot all the time. And I'm out there and in the garden, and you know, it's most of a half an acre of, you know, of crops that we're raising, and you know, mostly watering, just, you know, and taking care of things, harvesting vegetables, and you know, when it's planting time, we do that. And I occasionally get bit by a spider. I kicked a couple of snakes out of the way, but they're just little racers; they don't even bite. And I've never hurt myself. So, you know, I get done with all these chores, and I go to take my garbage down to the curb, you know, because it's garbage day, it's trash day, and I pulled a muscle in my wrist, and that is the most goddamn aggravating place to pull a muscle. You realize how many things you use your wrist for when you injure it, and that's a lot of things. I mean, just everything. Fortunately, it's in my non-dominant hand. I'm left-handed. You know, it's in my right wrist. But I'll be goddamn, this thing is just, it's driving me crazy. You know, I can't wait for it to heal. And strangely, it's an injury that I've done before. I think my mechanics of trash hauling leave something to be desired, because I've actually injured myself this way again. And I even put on the brace that I had before, and it provides substantial relief. But anyway, more than you wanted to know about my injuries, yeah, I had quite a day of activity out in the yard. It was about 100 degrees here, which is pretty normal for us, a little bit warm for this time of the year. Here, I'll turn on the camera so you can see my wrist brace, and get a solo. Do the camera thing. There it is. Oh, I've got the stupid background on. All right.
What's the burn mark on your arm?
No. That's the brace on it. Unfortunately, against the background, it doesn't really do much. But anyway, all right. So that was my day. Was a day of hard work out in the yard. Oh, the other thing I've been doing is reviving my dead in-ground watering system. There was when we bought the house, or when we moved into the house, we we knew that there was an in-ground watering system. They said it's broken. We've shut off the valve to it. Just leave it shut off, and it's more trouble than it's worth. So I've taken that on as a little bit of a challenge, and now I'm trying to find parts for an old sprinkler system. So it's just one exciting moment after another here in Midlothian, Texas. Yeah, I feel like James Bond, frankly.
Shit, dude. I hope the wound heals quickly.
Oh, it's just a pulled muscle. It's
Still hurts.
little
I'm
bit
sorry you're in
torn.
pain.
Yeah, it's not a bit. It's not pain all the time. That's the thing. It's just you do stuff with your wrist and you just get reminded all the time, and it's
Dude,
irritating.
hey,
I'm just
yo,
whining.
yo,
It's no big deal.
Skep. When
Adam.
when I had my collarbone broken and I couldn't
Yeah.
even fucking write, it was not a fun time.
Well, you broke your collarbone? Oh, I remember that. I remember when you did that. I told you I was sorry.
Wait, what?
Nothing.
All right. Anyway, so
What?
Wait, Skep, I'm
yes.
gonna offer to let you send me some of those veggies and fruits and stuff.
Yeah,
Whenever you feel like it.
you got it.
Hey, hold on.
You have
You know
my
what?
address.
What about the third faction,
Absolutely.
which is pickled? What do you folks think about pickled?
Actually, we're pickling some cucumbers. We're doing dill pickles this year.
Are you?
Yeah.
Nice.
We have both my wife and I at other times in our lives have tried to do dill pickles, and both have failed at them. So now that we've both failed, we maybe have enough lessons learned to give this a try. But I think we're going to give it a try. Yeah. We've already got the cucumbers harvested. In fact,
Gonna try a couple of jars and stuff. Is it more so the
Adam,
combination?
Adam,
What?
we buy jars, 64 of them at a time.
Holy shit! Wait,
Yeah,
seriously?
seriously.
Good.
Okay, Adam would like some pickles.
We have a $400 pressure steamer so that we can do multiple jars at a time.
Does that mean
We're into it.
Steams it closed?
Well, no. What it does, it just kills all the germs, basically. And I'm not. I'll be happy to go through. How putting stuff up in jars works. We call it canning. It's not really canning. It's using jars with composite lids. It's got a lid and then a ring that screws on around it, and the key is to get the stuff inside the jar hot enough, and get the jar hot enough to where the ring will sit on it, and then as it cools, it goes pop, and that's how you know you've got a good seal. And tighten down the ring, and you're good to go. That's how that works. It's actually pretty cool. It's a neat process, and the thing is, the stuff in jars lasts for years. It really will.
Yes.
Last for a long
My
time.
Auntie Shorty used to do that.
Well, I guess
Jar
that's why you
stuff?
buy 64 of them at a time.
Because I remember the sound. Yeah.
So anyway, that's kind of what we've been doing. But I was roaming around talking with Jenna before the show. I was thinking about medical things, and I'm so glad that medical equipment is not prejudiced against Jenna. because some medical equipment is prejudiced. Did you know that? And it's prejudiced against people of color. It's biased against people of color. Listen to this.
How?
I knew you were going to ask. And the way that this works is you have to understand that one of the ways that they measure the oxygen in your blood is with something called a pulse oximeter.
I have one.
I know. These pulse oximeters work fine on white people, but not so good on black people and not so good on Hispanics. And so what we're finding is that this stuff is racially biased devices cause delayed treatment for black COVID-19 patients. The pulse oximeters overestimated blood oxygen levels in minorities because of their darker skin, because of the way it works. It shines a light through your skin. And since they had darker skin, it came back with readings that were artificially high and said, and for that reason, COVID-19 treatment for black patients, I always want to say black loud when they capitalize it like that. I don't know why. Black patients was delayed because of inaccurate blood oxygen measurements from racially biased medical instruments. Racially biased medical instruments. I just want to just let that soak in for a minute. Pulse oximeters, which indirectly measure oxygen saturation levels using light that passes through blood in a fingertip, are widely used but have been criticized because they can give erroneous measurements in darker skinned patients. And anyway, there's a bunch of boring stuff, but the conclusion of the article is pulse oximeters without the known racial bias are available but are not commonly used yet. A journal of the American Medical Association commentary urged their adoption, although the device measurement error is real and based purely on optics. The decision to do nothing about a faulty device is a human one and one that can and should be corrected. Its authors said with their noses in the air.
So how much error are we talking about, Skep?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad you asked that because
I think it matters.
Yeah, they found that compared with white patients, pulse oximeters overestimated blood oxygen levels by 1.2% for black patients, 1.1 for Hispanic patients, and 1.7 for Asian patients. So a 1%, and typically, you're looking for 100, okay, as being good. And so what the black patients would, if they were scoring a real 95, it would come as 96.2. You see how that works?
Yeah, we definitely shouldn't inflate the scores for minorities.
No, definitely, and
because that would be wrong.
Well,
to give them a higher score just because of their skin color.
I'm gonna stay out of that.
And I'm totally not implying anything.
Yeah, we're not implying anything at all. We think this is a great article and
simply
really
addressing the facts at hand.
It's not about
absolutely.
Skin color. It's about minority.
Yeah, that's true. Adam, with your skin color, it could overestimate your pulse oxygenation saturation level.
I
by
could be a
1.1%.
multitude of. I have a spectrum, because I can be oppressed because I'm brown, but then at the opposite end, I could be one of the. Oh shit! You're against your kind, I guess. What they say.
Yeah.
Oh, weird shit.
Anyway,
I feel like taking the pulse ox and going to my kids that are sleeping and just sticking it on the ones that are not white and seeing what shows up.
but the thing is, you would have to have one of the unprejudiced pulse oximeters that reads oxygenation of color correctly, or hands of color, fingers of color
Darn it.
correctly. and that's what you need to invest in. And but I thought this was an interesting thing to actually refer to the racially biased medical instruments. Racially biased medical instruments.
First self-driving cars and now pulse oximeters.
They actually hate all by themselves.
Because all the BAME or BIPOC people just can't catch a break.
You know, this was just another way the man was keeping them down. Isn't that right?
Damn straight.
Jeez. Anyway, how silly that was. But at any rate, I did want to make this more of a sciencey show. So many of my shows turn into political rants, usually by me or a few of my guests. And I wanted.
Did you see
to,
Biden riding his bike?
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to do it.
I don't think the bike thing is that big a deal. I think it's kind of a nothing burger, honestly.
It's just funny.
He was coming to a stop to meet with people that were just waiting for him on his bike ride, which totally is an oppressed thing.
I mean, I can see how he could,
stopped.
Yeah.
His foot got stuck in the toe clip. He wasn't using clipless pedals. His foot got stuck in the toe clip. He slowed down, gyroscopic stability stopped, and then he fell over. I've done this more than a few times in my life because I used to bike a lot.
As have I.
It's actually pretty easy to do, especially if you're a little bit out of practice and you're thinking about putting. So that's mostly what happened to him.
Well, I love
around
the
biking, so come on.
People waiting for
Oh, I thought you said Vicodin. No, just kidding.
I think what Jen is getting at is that he fucked it up when it was very intentionally a PR thing. When he should have, if it was just a normal day, like he was just out riding his bike and it was just some like rando and like off the side and had filmed them with their phone, it wouldn't be funny. But this was intentionally trying to show his physical competence, and he couldn't even hold it together that long to do that. I think that's what she's getting at, because that's most of the argument I've seen online is that we all understand it's bullshit. We all understand that we've fallen from that kind of stuff, because I would bust my ass. I would bust my ass so hard on those.
Since we've ventured down that road, has anybody noticed that Joe Biden seems to be getting worse in the cognitive disability area?
Oh, he's been getting worse forever. But
yes. I believe he has had substantial decline. One of the things that I notice is that he slurs a lot of soft consonants.
A lot. It's getting worse.
His M's, his S's just give him fits.
Yep. Yeah, if you look at a picture of him or video of him from a year ago and compare it to now,
right,
the difference is pretty stark. Now, when you become president of the United States, that is a job that will age any person quickly.
Isn't the saying, and you can go in with your natural hair color, but you'll leave with gray?
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that I was trying... Go ahead, Søren.
Well, no, I was just saying, like, they've done that with Obama and everything like that. The only one that didn't work on is Trump, is because we all know Trump's been dyeing his hair for years.
But Biden's one year drop has been pretty startling. I feel like he's aged 4 years in one, even by presidential standards.
Oh, yeah.
He is not doing particularly well.
No, I don't think I should.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Harry. The other thing that I noticed is that his attitude, his anger, is emerging more frequently, and they're less capable of controlling it. Almost every time he speaks extemporaneously now, he shows anger. He has never been that person.
He is getting pretty angry, yeah.
No, we have 50 years of him in the Senate to look at, and
don't remind me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's ever yell.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I usually refer to it as his Algernon juice.
Yeah, Algernon
Oh.
juice.
And I'm surprised he's held out as long as he has.
I know.
Well played, lad.
Yep. A little Hunter S. Thompson
Yeah,
episode.
exactly.
No, the thing is that Biden actually is pretty clean as far as that sort of stuff goes. He leaves
Well,
all of the drinking and the drug use to his kids.
I'll bet he's got a pretty healthy Adderall habit by now, don't you think?
What's
I
wrong
think
with
he's on
Adderall?
a lot of steroids.
I don't take Adderall, so
Yeah.
it's probably
like,
the
and
one
the
med
thing,
I don't take.
if he wasn't the president of the United States, like, and I'm saying this to be completely honest, like, because it's just sad. Like, it's like watching someone in an old folks' home, just slowly, and it's like, I don't like Biden, but I stand by the same principle, and I'm sure everyone here shares the same one. It's like, I didn't want the guy to fail. I don't.
It's elderly abuse, I feel.
Well, it's not even just the elderly abuse. Like, I don't want anybody who becomes president to fail, because that makes everyone else's life harder in this country.
Well, yeah.
But it's so sad. And there's getting to a point that watching people, like, occasionally the jokes are okay, but watching people just revel in his deterioration, it's getting kind of sick. It's like, okay, I understand your commentary channels, I get that, but there's a certain point where it's kind of like, pull it back a little bit and look at the fact that this is an old man who's getting abused.
Yeah, but at what end do you
I want to
sit there and say that they keep dragging him out there? I hate to say it, but that's the reality of it.
Well, no, and I agree with that.
Like, deteriorating, and people are calling him out for it. And what point do we say, hey, if he's obviously not able to stand up on his own, we need to, despite all the bullshit, conspiracy shit, it's if this guy's really this, he's falling off of his bike.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well,
and
then
he'll get up and say, you don't know what you're talking about. You should get your facts straight before you don't.
Lion dog face pony soldier. Come on, man.
Oh, my favorite was fat.
Yeah,
Just
so
call the guy fat.
And then on top of that, the little twinkle pie he's got for a press secretary goes out there, and she doesn't have any answer. She has position papers that are tabs in a notebook, and that is the extent of her knowledge. She is a pure mouthpiece. Compare her with Dana Perino. Dana Perino would go out there, and she might have notes, but most of the time she spoke without reading anything. If she read something, it was usually something written by somebody else that she was quoting, as so and so said, blah 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 blah. She never read things out of a book. She knew the positions of the administration, and she was sensitive to day-to-day changes because she took that on as part of her job. This person, Jean-Pierre, does not. She seems to believe that, hey, I'm just there as a mouthpiece to, reliably convey the contents of position papers, a portion of which have been that we've decided to make public, and that's her interpretation of the job, or that's the interpretation of very likely Ron Klain, Biden's chief of staff, who I believe may well be president of the United States right now. He and Susan Rice.
Are you familiar with the slang term where you refer to a person as the beard or a beard?
Yes, I have.
So
exactly.
For people who are not used to this, back in the day when gay people were actually oppressed, people would have somebody that they would just be seen with.
A show wife.
Yeah, to give the illusion that that they weren't gay or whatever. So it's just somebody that you date or are seen in public with to sort of divert attention from who your actual interest is, the beard. So in a lot of ways, I think Biden is just the beard for whatever deep state's basically running the White House now.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
we gotta show him. Oh, look at him go! He's on a bicycle. Look, he's eating ice cream. Look, he's patting kids on the head. You know, ooh, look at him go! Wind him up, and Joe is just a bundle of energy at age 79.
One of the things about beards back in the day, Rock Hudson was actually married to a beard at one time, I believe, and is that things don't end up well for the beards. Later life, the beards are not as useful as they used to be, and they tend to fall on hard times. And I think that Biden the beard is going to fall upon hard times as the Democratic Party goes looking for somebody who can beat whoever the Republicans put forward. One of the interesting things, you know, it's fun to watch this because you see the Democrats. They have screwed up the country every way they can, just about every way that they can. The only thing we really need is a major war now, and life would be complete. But the Republicans always find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And I saw Donald Trump come out and say, you know, oh, that guy DeSantis, I'd kick his ass in a primary. And I think that is just, you know, that's just classic Republicans. You know, we can find a way to lose this. We can find a way to screw this up. And I'm fine with them screwing it up. What I want is a government that doesn't do anything, a government in gridlock. That's the best possible world I can hope for right now, because libertarians are still insane. And they're not going to get their shit together and get a decent candidate out there. So what I can hope for is gridlock, and just let these assholes be assholes, but, you know, try and hold on to as many of my rights as I can. I don't know. What do you guys think about this?
I think Serenity's missing. Did she get knocked off the air? Is she waiting to get back in?
No, she's done. I'm sitting here on the console waiting for her to come back.
She must have lost her internet.
The dogs might have needed.
Yeah, she said, yeah, my blanking internet died again. Hopefully I'll be back, but I don't know. So we hope she'll be back. If she does, I will instantly buzz her in.
Yeah. I have a little thought experiment for you.
Already?
Well, because I sort of teased this, but if you want to talk about some other stuff for a bit, because it'll be a big pivot, just let me know when you're ready.
Well, no, let's pivot now. We're all about pivoting. Let's pivot.
So, as I was thinking about incarceration as a means of dealing with people who don't get along with society, I sort of teased this the other night that I was pondering this.
Okay.
And this is one of these things that's probably going to make chat hate me. I don't know. We'll find out. I was reminded of. I mean, the basic problem is there are people in society who just basically can't live around other people. You know, they do things that are violent or antisocial or just wrong in all sorts of different ways. Yep. And what we do is we put them in jails and prisons, and a lot of times they end up coming out worse than when they went in. Violent people become more violent. It's a revolving door for people who steal. And of course, there's also a duty of care that we have once we strip people of their rights to protect them. And a lot of times the jails are not fit for purpose in that way either.
That's absolutely true.
So as I was thinking about this, I was reminded of a short story by David Brin. And I can't remember the title of it. I think it's like an inconsistency of vision or something like that. But the general premise is that rather than locking people up, you essentially remove them from society. They still exist, but everybody has to, you can't talk to them. They can't engage. They're just sort of
vision.
Systems of vision. Thank you.
Insistence of
Insistence of vision. Okay.
Yeah,
but
he's never good at titles, but he's a pretty good writer.
Well, because I sort of ended up not starting there, but sort of that reminded me of the idea I was thinking of, because we have all this space. People say, oh, well, we've got all this space that we have, we could bring in lots and lots of refugees. If you look at the huge swaths of Texas and Nevada where there's all this land, and that if you take the number of people and the amount of land we have, it's inconsequential. We could bring in lots and lots of people. Well, suppose...
farms and, like, cattle.
Oh, there's a lot of not arable land out there that you can't really do either of those things with. What if, instead of building a big building and shoving all these people in it and then having the yard where they can go and get jacked so they can just really beat the crap out of some woman when they get out the next time? How about we do something different, and like the first level of prison is simply, you're going to be alone. There's going to be a little enclosure, and in there's going to be a little house, and a drone is going to drop off your food and your water, and there'll be a little monitor on you that says to make sure that you're in decent enough health. But
they
you
call
don't.
That house arrest.
No, this is much better than house arrest. There's no internet. There's no newspaper. There's no radio. There's no communication whatsoever. You literally put people in a timeout and separate them with enough space that you don't need the ridiculous amounts of security. If they start to run, you've got all the time in the world to go pin them down. But instead of cramming them all into a cramped little place, why don't we just spread them all out and really give them some time, right? And really give them time to think about what the hell they did. Because even if people who are antisocial might think this sounds like a good plan, but it's like solitary confinement without the walls.
Yes, but one thing, because I actually think that would be a good idea.
For like 90% of them, they're really hardened ones. It's like if you don't play by the rules, then you get solitary and discipline loaf. Or punishment loaf for whatever, for however many years.
You know those collars that go around dogs that if you go to the electric fence, you get shocked?
Yeah.
Can we put those on them?
You know, the thing about shock collars and dogs, they're actually really misunderstood. The purpose...
Well, no, I don't care about the... I don't want to shock the dogs.
No, this is important. So I'm answering your question. The point of the collar, in terms of training cattle or dogs or anybody else to respect an electric fence, is it's not there to basically tase you into submission. It's there to remind you that you're getting close to where you're not supposed to be.
And to train them into habits.
Well, you have to work with them so that they get too close to the fence and they associate a corrective action with that feeling. Yeah, and then later the feeling is all that it takes. So in the case of the prisoners, all you got to do is give them a thing that just gives them a little tingle, not to hurt them, but just to remind them you're getting close to the periphery. So we don't want prisoners getting close to the periphery and being able to shout at each other and go, hey, what's your name?
Okay, say it's...
What's your name? Tony. Fuck you, Tony.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. What's your name?
Fuck you.
We don't want any of that. We want them to to just not have human contact. No communication.
Okay, so
just be literally remove them from society, and see if that might help.
We put it far enough where they can't see or talk to anybody, but they still get shocked.
Well, what's the purpose of the shock? Just to remind them that they're getting close to maybe a low security fence.
Honestly, kicks and giggles from me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so it's like that episode of Star Trek where they took Spock's brain.
See, I have no problem with. I'd like to state that Addie apparently wants to go and live. He thinks this is great for him.
Addie would volunteer for this.
No, but think about it. If the problem is that they're hurting people and they can't live with other people, honestly, if this removes dangerous people from society and they're happy just being there, fine. I don't care. That's fine. Just stay there.
They have no internet. They have no phone.
No internet. No phone. No visitation. No conjugal visits. Oh, there's a panic button.
Hold on, not even a coconut radio?
You don't get a coconut radio. You don't get a crystal set. No Galena. No nothing. You get nothing.
Lord.
Galena.
You literally
That's
just
lead ore.
remove people from society.
Can I read
And
what
no
Johnny wrote?
no prison walleting a tiny cell phone in either.
Skep, can you put what Johnny wrote up?
Yeah, well.
Because I'm a dick.
Note to
Yeah,
self: don't give Jenna
Wow.
a button to anything.
Yeah.
It's,
So I don't know. This is
probably
just my
good advice.
this is just my modest proposal for changing how we actually discipline people. Instead
I
of
have-
cramming
I
them
have-
all together, spread them all out.
But
I have a couple of comments and a question. Go ahead, Jenna.
well, the one thing is, how would, first of all, you make sure they're far enough where they can't talk to each other, and what if they grab the drone or whatever?
No, that's easy. They've got cameras inside their little shelter. They when it's time for something to be dropped off, they go inside their shelter and they stand in a designated spot. And then the laundry's picked up, the laundry's dropped off, food, water, all that stuff basically shows up. When it's all clear, they can come out. If they don't adhere to the rules of this thing, they go to a conventional prison, they get put in solitary.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Go ahead, Jenna.
sorry. Well, from what I understand and from all the true crime things I've watched, solitary confinement is one of the worst punishments, because there's nothing worse than being with yourself, by yourself, with no human contact.
Yes.
So it would be...
That's true. And if you give them a shovel,
Yeah,
they can...
I have some comments and a question about this, but I want to make sure everybody is finished first. Okay. I think this is an interesting idea. What I find most fascinating about it is the notion of caring for these people. I like the idea that Robert A. Heinlein put forward in his novella that was called Coventry. And if you haven't read this, this is a novella that still stands up. Go get it. It's probably free on Audible if you've got that, or Kindle.
Project Gutenberg, maybe.
Project Gutenberg, even. Yeah, that's a possibility. Anyway, in Coventry, it works like this. Now, it's a science fiction novel, so there are some science fiction aspects, but the only really science part of the science fiction is there's a big wall, and it's a circular wall around an area. It has one gate. It's a force field. You touch the force field, you're vaporized. If you can explode an atomic bomb next to it, and the atomic bomb will be vaporized. It's a very powerful wall. And if you get sentenced to Coventry, that's what they call the inside of this circle. And the circle is like the size of Nevada. And so, it's a big honking area. You just get sent inside and they say, see ya. And you're there forever. You're done. So you commit a crime, you're a repeat offender, you've got 3 armed robberies, you go to Coventry. You're sent to Coventry, and it is society's wastebasket. And I kind of like that idea. Send these people. These people want to create hell on earth for the people who want to live responsibly. Let them have their hell on earth. And I realize that not everybody comes from a good upbringing. Not everybody has the advantages in life, but nobody absolutely has to be an asshole over and over and over again. We give you too many chances to get better, too many opportunities to get better. If you're not going to get better, I think we have to admit that there is a portion of humanity that is trash. And if you don't throw away the trash, it accumulates in your home, and eventually it will kill you. And that's it's one of those. There are no good option. There are no options that anybody's going to love. But I think that's a fine idea. Now, my version of Coventry works like this: you come in for your third armed robbery of a bank or something like that, you're obviously recidivist. You've killed a bunch of people, or you're a pedophile. Where it's clearly you're convicted of that. I send you to a different land, with about a 7-gram piece of lead that will make you die of lead poisoning. And
Agreed.
boom, 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 right in the back of the neck. And no muss, no fuss, not even a lot of bleeding. And the other thing is just to explain to the prisoners that they're going to heaven. Every prisoner goes to heaven, and then boom.
I don't think just killing prisoners is a particularly creative solution.
It's not creative. No,
it's not creative at all.
But it's fun.
Harry,
You've got to admit it's fun.
I don't know
about pedophiles and rapists.
Well, the main thing is we don't want anybody else to get hurt. I'm more concerned with preventing future victims. That's my first priority.
Let me ask you this, Harry. If you took every single person who is locked up in a maximum security prison in the United States and killed them, how would it harm us other than coarsening our moral character? I do actually have some deep-seated misgivings about this, but I'm just thought experiment. You started the thought experiment, so here we go.
Well, I started the thought experiment. I was trying to solve multiple problems. One is that I don't consider our current prison system to be particularly humane, and I also don't think it's particularly effective as a deterrent, and I don't think it's very effective as a means of rehabilitation.
It definitely is an effect, because how many prisoners get out and then 2 months later they're back in because they committed the same crime, or they moved up a level on the scale.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I know that's what we're talking about, but I was just agreeing with Harry about rehabilitation not working.
So, Jenna, suppose you were a different person and you were like a serial check bouncer, right? And then you went up and sort of worked your way up through the ranks of crime to the point where you were defrauding old people of their retirement savings. You did something wrong, but maybe not wrong enough that you deserve a bullet to the back of the head. So we're going to push Skep's plan out of the way for just a moment.
And we're going to
what we want to do is we want to get these people away from the internet. We want to get these people away from the internet, and we want to give them time to think about what they did. And we want to do it in such a way that they don't want to sign up for this again. We could give people the option of doing something like this instead of traditional jail. And I would even think that a shorter sentence would be possible with a system like this too.
Well, here's
I think that deals with a lot of the constitutional issues.
Here's my question. Do the old people get their money back?
Well, who would give it back to them? You don't have a wand that just undoes the fraud usually.
Yeah,
if the person has
work off that money.
How will they?
Well, if alternate universe Jenna, the one that was a bad seed, still had the money, of course, that could be taken. That could be taken away for restitution to the victims. But if the money doesn't exist, you can't just go money printer goes burr.
No, but taking that money from the old people that need it, okay, I have to not think. No, they need to work it off and pay back the old people.
There are civil crimes where that sort of thing, because I'm sure that Amber Heard's really going to get to work on that $8 million she needs to raise.
8.4.
Yeah, whatever it is, whatever the amount of money is. But there are also crimes for which there's no way you can ever pay somebody back. I'm still shocked at the idea that somebody who commits first-degree murder would ever be let out. Why?
Right.
Why would you take somebody else's life and ever see any time outside of prison ever?
Bingo.
Why?
There was There was a man that beat his 2-year-old son to death and got manslaughter. An officer rightly shot somebody and got second-degree murder. Explain to me that.
Well, I'm talking
Right.
about if you're convicted of first-degree murder.
Well,
And
if
of course,
I
there
think
is
if
an
you murder
appeal.
somebody, there's no. If you murder somebody, you go to jail.
No, I don't. Well, I mean, yeah, you're going to go to jail, but I'm not sure it's the throw them in a dark hole forever, because there's reasons why we have different charges for different circumstances.
And I understand that, but if you kill your 2-year-old child, you should get more than manslaughter.
Well, just to give you an example, you're in your house, somebody breaks in, you shoot them with a gun because of the castle doctrine. Well, what if they don't have the castle doctrine in your state? Are you saying that person should go to jail for the rest of their life?
Because that person was protecting their family.
So circumstances matter.
Yeah.
So some murders are right and some murders
That's
are
not
wrong.
a murder. That's a...
No, but the point is you're just justifying it. You've already admitted that there are times when you can kill somebody and it literally is like no harm, no foul on you. Right? There's no jeopardy for you defending yourself.
If someone comes into my house to hurt my family, there's nothing I wouldn't do to protect my family.
Yeah. Well, there are moments where people get killed because of passion. There's people who there's a reason why manslaughter exists. Accidentally killing somebody because you were negligent, and in some circumstances, it doesn't even have to be negligent. It's just purely accidental, and you just happen to be the person who was involved with it.
Well,
there are degrees. Not everything is the same as first-degree murder, where you sit there and go, you plan, it's premeditated, it's personal, and you go, I'm going to take this person's life and snuff it out.
Right.
You claim a right that you have no right claiming. No person individually has the right to do that to another human being in a civilian situation.
A person that strangles somebody, that is you are looking that person in the eyes as you take their life. That should be, if this person just goes into a rage and strangles their loved one, because the Gabby Petito case, strangled her, and that is a crime of passion, and it's a crime. I watched a documentary, not on the Gabby, but on strangulation.
Okay.
It's a crime of, it's a intimate crime.
Yeah, it's intimate crime, it's crime of passion. But what Harry is talking about is when, first of all, I could not agree more violently with you that first degree murder, when you sit there and plot somebody's death and then you go and execute them, you have done something that you cannot repay society for. Therefore, you have to leave society forever. I would put those people in a cell, okay, from which they would never emerge. I would have some sort of light bulb in the top that would come on once a day. And the other thing is, I think they would spend the rest of their life naked, okay? There would be nothing soft in there. And there would be nothing for them to do, okay? And the food would come in. They'd have no human contact whatsoever, not with anybody. Not ever. And when a heartbeat could not be detected from the cell, they just flush it out, basically, and cremate the corpse. To take care of the microbes. And
well, can I address something in the chat before you ask the question,
please.
Jenna? So. The idea is like murder is illegal. This is Assassin's Creed. Murder is illegal killing. Justifiable homicide is just that. If you were in a state where they decided that based on the law that is not justifiable, The idea of it being justifiable isn't about my personal thinking about it being justifiable. We're talking about the law and how it's applied to people. And the law is an uncaring bastard. It doesn't particularly care about what I think necessarily. If I'm on a jury, I could do jury nullification. That's something that's open. But the idea of something being justifiable, it's like, well, justifiable by who and by what standard? I mean, we already know that some murders are justifiable and some murders the circumstances are lessened. I can imagine a situation where you show up at home and your spouse is in flagrante delicto with the pool boy or whatever. And then there's outrage, words are exchanged, there's a scuffle. And while you're, dealing with the outraged pool boy, he falls down and hits his head on the edge of a coffee table and dies. Now,
how is that your fault?
Well, that would probably end up getting you at least tried for manslaughter, and then a jury of your peers would try to decide whether you deserve to go to jail or not for that. Because there are aggravating circumstances. That's the point. We look at the mitigating circumstances. We look at the conditions about, because we do know that there are crimes of passion, and we do know that things happen accidentally, and the degree of negligence plays a part in it. There isn't just one kind of manslaughter. There's different degrees of manslaughter. So the law is already kind of equipped to sort of deal with this thing. But in the case of first-degree murder, where you have all the time in the world to think about what you're about to go do, and then you go snuff another human being's life out.
And you know what the consequences are.
Yeah, just screw you forever in a dark hole, or you get the Bullet Express from Skep. I don't really care, but you don't... Yep. There's no reason to think that a person who does something like that once can be safely released into society and that they'll never do it again, because they have the capacity to do it. They've demonstrated they have the capacity to do it, and you don't get freedom after that, in my opinion. No parole.
In England, you have to have a minimum. You can have a maximum, but you have to have a minimum. You can have life imprisonment with a minimum of 40 years. It's the stupidest, and I know
many states have that too.
I know we do that. But usually when it's murder, first degree, I would hope it, like Chris Watts, he has no chance of, he has no minimum. He's in there for, I think, 6 lifetimes, which I think he should have to serve all of them. They should bring him back and be like, all right, round 2.
Okay.
Don't
clearly,
agree.
One of the things I really agree also with Harry about is our prisons are not fit for purpose. If you go to these prisons, one of the things that I was very active in, did a lot for 2 years. Every Sunday, I spent 9-10 hours of my day at a jail in Central Texas. I would drive to this jail in one of the big regional jails that Texas has in Mineral Wells, and take AA meetings to the convicts. Of course, all the convicts, they're all addicts anyway. They're all drunks and addicts, and they all say, "Yeah, I definitely want to go to the AA meeting because I hold a pretty good AA meeting. It's pretty entertaining, and B, they just want to get the hell out of their cell." And so one of the things that you begin to understand is just how overcrowded and awful these places are. They smell like a mixture of pine sol and urine and vomit. Shit you not. And I've been to state penitentiaries. Regional jails, in my opinion, are actually worse than the state pens. But the or as we call it, the University of Huntsville, here in Texas, it just is an absolutely awful place to go, and there is not even a pretense of rehabilitation. It's in the high security lockups. I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. I think that, we either have to put a bunch of money into hiring both better personnel to take care of the prisoners, and you were talking real money there, and upgrading the facilities, because the facilities are just, they're nasty. They're just disease holes. And yeah, you have uh, healthy 30-year-olds, ostensibly healthy, dying of staph infections in these places.
Yeah.
It's hell on earth. You do not want to go to prison. And there are people that, well, it should be that way. No, no, no. We when we put the country together, we said no cruel and unusual punishment. I think somebody was talking about Eighth Amendment uh, violations, and that's not wrong. We said we're not going to torture people. The English, from whence we came, had a tradition of horrifying torture regimens. I mean, it would just absolutely shake you
Try and
to know
quartering.
what what one human would do to another. Yeah, all that stuff, and we don't need to get into the specific techniques. But we said we're not going to do that. We're going to have a society where you're free of the threat of being tortured to death, uh, essentially for offending the monarch. And there was a very anti-monarchical, if I remember correctly, mood in the air back in the late 1700s, and it has obtained even unto this day. But we've let our press never. This is the problem with government. Government takes pictures when what it needs to do is make a movie. It's so situations are dynamic, they're fluid. Government looks at one thing at a point in time, says this is the solution, and then they solve that problem that way forever. Now, it's an oversimplification. Sometimes this effect obtains more than others, but prisons are a classic example of that. The prison's there, looks good from the outside, must be fine, and as long as what advocate do the inmates have, other than stuff like the Freedom Project at Northwestern University, which is actually just a bunch of law students who want to feel good about themselves by showing how bad the man is. That's mostly what that is. Anyway, I don't
They
know. What do you
have.
think?
Didn't Kim Kardashian? That's her name, right? Do
Is she a
this whole thing?
Kardashian or a Romulan?
Huh?
Is she a Kardashian or is she a Romulan? I guess the Kardashians came from the Romulans originally, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking
I
about that
think
woman
so.
she's an alien with the
It
really
wouldn't
white
surprise me.
hips,
But
fat
wasn't
ass.
she fighting for justice, equality, or something?
Yeah, Kai Wynn had kind of a big ass,
Yeah, good point.
but
That's not important
But
right
that's
now.
who they have fighting for them.
Kara Nerys didn't. So I don't really know what they. Nor did Ro Laren. So I don't really know if we have enough data to go on, since I can only think of 3 Kardashian women.
Kardashian women.
Yeah.
There were not a lot of
Are you
Kardashian
making
women.
fun of the way I said her name?
No,
Making a Star Trek joke.
Kim the Kardashian.
Oh shit! Hold on. Could you imagine an alternate universe where, okay, so there's the myth of uh, the foot being measured by a royal actual foot. But let's look at this one and then go and shit, yeah.
Where are we going, Adam? Adam?
I'm sorry.
Adam,
Yes.
you were
Okay.
okay.
All right.
What do you think we should do about the prison system, Adam?
Oh shit. I'm sorry. I'm gonna
That's okay.
pass on that.
All right.
The
Is
whole
this
Clockwork Orange thing's been ruled out, unfortunately.
Are you worried because you're darker skinned?
Ugh.
Yeah, man.
I broke Adam.
No, well, I am bronze kind of skin, so she's not lying.
Was it Julius Jones? Was he on the death row guy in Oklahoma? I was seeing that in chat. She helped get Julius Jones off death row here in Oklahoma. Another reason I can't stand that woman. Was that a death row person? I think that was.
I can
think
look
that
it
was
up.
I thought
Adam, Camel, I'm with ya. I can't stand her either. But she was the only example I had for people fight. Besides, all the. We shouldn't have any prisons. Yeah, that will work. And no bail anymore. You don't have to give bail. First degree murder, don't worry, you'll show up for your court date. Well,
goodness.
you got New York is doing no bail. I know, obviously. I hope murderers are getting bail, or being stuck in prison. But
Well, yeah, murderers should be stuck in prison for sure.
People that keep robbing stores and stuff get caught, released, and then go rob the convenient or the mall or whatever again, and it's just a repeating cycle, and it's let them express themselves for the people that do it. But what about the bottom line for the stores that are losing money and have to close because they keep getting robbed?
Good point.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Harry.
I was just going to say there are some channels out there that sort of people wander around and gather firsthand accounts of what it's like in some of the bigger cities. I was watching this one channel where this guy said, "Oh, I was in San Francisco a year ago. What's it like now?" And you see the video of San Francisco and New York and all of these big retail spaces that have just been boarded up, that are just empty. And in the case of California, yeah, the theft has just gotten completely out of hand.
17 Walgreens in San Francisco have shut down.
Yeah.
17 Walgreens.
And
why shouldn't they?
All of them. Yeah, there's like 3 of them left.
Yeah, and every single thing is locked up. And then when people walk in and see everything locked up, they go, "That's racist. It's racist of you to lock up all the bread."
Right.
White people get brown people. Why does the color matter?
When people scream that's racist over things like this, that's just them looking for some club to beat you up with to try to get their way.
Okay, the Julius Jones thing. Oklahoma Governor, Kevin Stitt, Stitt, has commuted his death sentence after mounting public pressure just hours before he was to be executed. Stitt reduced his sentence to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. He was convicted in 1999. The guy is 41.
So when you want to incur the cost of a successful death penalty prosecution, all the appeals and everything else, gets right up to the execution time, and now support him for the rest of his natural life.
Major names
makes sense.
Oh, sorry. Major names like reality star Kim Kardashian West, who has become a criminal justice advocate. Sorry, criminals.
Is she a human?
Apparently, she's human.
I thought somebody said she was a Kardashian.
I think she's a Kardashian.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
You cannot trust those. You cannot trust that. Race,
I think she's a Q. Evil.
No, she's not a Q. She's not smart enough. Say what you want about Q. Smart guy.
He is a smart guy. That's a good point.
He did great on his SATs, I bet.
He's a Vulcan that doesn't have a half human part. She is. Anyways, Kardashian. This is cold. Death penalty in America. Oh, we're keeping the death penalty, Eddie. In just over 2 weeks, an innocent man could be put to death. My heart breaks.
This was a Hollywood celebrity who probably knows almost nothing about the case.
Yep.
I'm just guessing. Don't you think, Harry?
Is it Kim Kardashian?
Yeah. How much legal research do you think she did on the Julius Jones?
You know, any of it, all of it. I'm not particularly sure what goes on inside that woman's head. I mean, I don't think she's monumentally stupid, but I don't think that she's like the problem solver we've been waiting for. You know, she's the one that's going to come along and like figure out all the difficult questions and get things.
You're saying she's no Joy Behar.
She's no Joy Behar. She's not really the thing.
Not Joy Behar.
I think it's a joke from Saturday that we missed.
Yeah. I do have a science thing for you when you're ready to pivot.
Oh yeah, let's pivot. Let's get off this.
Wait, you got science stuff?
I got a science thing.
More science. What you got?
So one of the Oh, sorry, man.
I'm horrible at science.
Okay. You sound a little tired.
You okay,
no, discouraged because I'm horrible at science.
Well, we can talk about something else, man. I'm fine.
No. Go ahead with. Let me let's give it a good old college.
Give it a good old college try.
So we'll talk about 1954 Stratocaster.
So we talk about different ways that we can get energy, right? And wind turbines are kind of big and dumb and stupid. They don't recycle well, and they freeze up in Texas, and then Skep is cold. So wind is not really the thing. Solar works really well in some places, but what about our friend geothermal? Geothermal is where we basically use the temperature difference between what's down beneath the Earth's crust and at sea level. So where they usually try to tap into geothermal is near faults, and so you end up getting minor earthquakes and all sorts of little bad things that tend to happen that are a little disturbing, because it's bad when earthquakes get created by things that you do, because you're like a Bond villain. You know, it's like View to a Kill, where you're going to destroy Silicon Valley. You know, because you're going to go all Bond villain. Yeah,
fracking does do that, Harry.
It does. So
we know this.
But there is, if you could drill holes in places where the crust isn't so thin, economically, you would be able to open up geothermal in a lot of places where they don't use it now. Because if you're like on Lanzarote or Iceland or someplace like that, the crust is really thin. Geothermal's a totally valid thing. Otherwise, you have to dig a really, really deep hole. Well, there is a technology which might actually help, which is called millimeter wave technology for drilling. What they do is they use the same type of radio generator that they use for generating plasma in tokamak fusion reactors, and use it to essentially vaporize, turn into a plasma, and then vaporize and then rinse away with like a fracking solution, a tunnel that you're trying to or a shaft you're trying to drill into the earth. So you can drill through all the sedimentary rock with regular drilling, but once you get below, say, 10 kilometers, it gets to be really, really hard because you're replacing drill bits every 100 feet. It's ridiculous. It's incredibly expensive, and we just can't do it. But using this, there is no drill bit. It's actually a very efficient technology. It takes a ton of power to do this. You're going to have to massively tap into the grid because you're using basically a huge radio frequency death ray to bore a hole into the magma of the Earth. But you can go down 20 kilometers with something like this. And this is a new thing they're working on. So if you can imagine this working at scale, it would be pretty amazing because it might take 1% of the amount of power that the thing would generate over its life to drill the hole, but the other 99% is just gravy. And it would allow you to use geothermal as like a stable baseline for when the sun isn't out and the wind isn't blowing anywhere on the damn planet, pretty much. So it's pretty cool that they're taking this stuff that's supposed to make fusion reactors work and applying it to drilling really, really deep holes into the magma so we can have geothermal.
How deep are these holes?
They're talking about 20 kilometers.
20 kilometers?
Because they're going to be drilling away from the faults.
That's
you can't really go much beyond that because you lose too much power if you try to drill with the basically the microwave laser kind of thing. It's not really a laser, but it's a microwave thing. It just beams microwave power into the rock, melts it, and then you wash that away with the fracking solution.
With fracking solution.
Yep.
This is a serious
crust,
question.
from what I see, is 5 to 70 kilometers thick. Okay, its continental crust makes up most of the land on Earth. It is thicker, 35 to 70 kilometers. So you're not talking about penetrating the crust completely, or are you?
No, you just need it to be nice. You just need it to be really hot, and there are places
nice and toasty. Okay.
Yeah, and there are places where that would actually penetrate.
Caves. You can go down to caves that are hot.
Yep.
Just walk down and
yeah, you just want an energy difference because you can any place where there's a temperature gradient, you can generate power, and that can be the bottom of the ocean versus the surface of the ocean, but homogenizing the temperature of the different layers of the ocean on a big scale might not be the greatest idea. The Earth...
That's such a bad idea.
It's such a bad idea, but like the Earth is more than big enough that we could drill a few hundred of these things and it wouldn't make any noticeable difference as far as the Earth was concerned.
Yeah.
Can I do the drilling?
It would not make a significant difference.
We'll give you a button.
It would make... To the argumentative who might hear this stream, we know that it makes a little bit of a difference, but it's not a significant difference. It's not enough difference to materially change the way the planet works.
Well, it's better than drilling next to a fault line, which is what they're doing now.
Exactly. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, what I'm talking about is a lot more stable than a lot of these other harebrained things they're doing. They'll tap into places where there are volcanoes. Right. And where the magma is up close to the surface, and it's like, are you sure you really want to do that? Maybe not, but drilling a big old deep hole in someplace away from the stuff is relatively safe by comparison.
I'm not going to get the button. I'm going to run the machine.
Actually, I was trying to show Frosted Glass in chat. Chat moved on me at that moment. I know drilling. I saw Armageddon. I thought that was pretty cool.
I was thinking of that while Harry was talking.
It's hard for me not to... Whenever I see Liv Tyler, it's hard for me not to think about her weird-looking dad.
Hey, he is a Bostonian hero.
Okay.
He has some vocal cords, too.
Wait, I thought her father was Elrond.
Don't want to close my eyes.
No, I think it's Steven Tyler.
It's Steven Tyler. Wait, he didn't know that till she was...
Yeah, her mom was some Playboy playmate, and then her dad is a rock star. I know. What a surprise that an adult model would hook up with a rock star. Yeah, and then what you get out the other end is Liv Tyler. Who's kind of weird looking.
Is her name really Liv, or is it like Olivia and Liv's her nickname?
No clue.
that's an important question, Harry.
Yeah.
Liv
Look,
Tyler.
things
No,
like
it's
that
Liv
just-
Rundgren. Liv Rundgren is her name. Liv Rundgren Tyler is what she goes by now, but she was born Liv Rundgren.
Well, that's because
Dolph
she
Lundgren.
thought the first guy was her biological father till she found out.
Yeah,
Steve
Todd
Tyler-
Rundgren was very important in her life.
So
I know
not
that.
Dolph Lundgren?
No, I don't think it was Dolph
But-
Lundgren. I think it was Todd Rundgren.
Well, if she does, she does.
Look, things like that, when I hear, I just wonder.
Yeah,
I
Dusty
don't know
Springfield
why.
was Buffalo
Liv
Springfield's mother.
Yeah, her mother named her after Liv Ullmann. That's where she gets her name.
Ah,
The Norwegian actress who was in lots of depressing movies. She cried a lot.
stood there in a like the dump holding a rotting cabbage. Just
exactly.
just dressed in like cotton,
Right.
white cotton,
Exactly.
surrounded
Yeah.
by death and decay.
When
That's it.
When I name my children, I make sure I name them after a really depressed actress. A woman that plays a depressed person in movies or whatever.
Her mother's name was B.B. Bell, a model, a singer, and former Playboy playmate, Miss November 1974. And she was living with Todd Rundgren, rock musician Todd Rundgren, who is really an amazingly talented man, multi-instrumentalist, amazing guy. But in 1966, while Bell was living with Todd Rundgren, she went to this amazing party and came back pregnant. You know, if you sleep around with enough girls, some of them will bring you presents. And she had one for Steve. And the rest, as they say, is herstory. We don't say history anymore.
Mhm.
Herstory.
I
Yes,
am
you-
so
You
sick
study
of
that between
stuff.
chemistry and
Exactly.
it's a Simpsons joke.
Yeah.
Herstory, chemistry.
Okay. I hate to say it, people, but if we're gonna get on the subject, there's no such thing as chest feeding. It's breastfeeding. Unless you have
Okay.
milk ducts.
Milk ducks. What kind of ducks are milk ducks?
Hey, so hold on. What about
Quack, quack, quack,
did
quack.
you
What if you have
see-
milk duds? Then you can't
Hold on.
feed them.
Hold on. Did you
Yes,
see
Adam?
Ben Shapiro's sister
Does she have
donated
milk
a bunch
ducts?
of milk milk packages? What is that?
Oh, I actually for my
Did
kids
she keep it
because
separate from the meat?
you can donate breast milk, and then people who adopt or can't breastfeed but want their child to have breast milk are gifted or pay for this milk that is donated, and it's actually something I've done with all of my babies.
Well, hold on. First off, yes, it's incredibly noble of her to step up and offer some nutrients in a drought. I just think it's funny that it's that there's a whole bunch of these goofballs out there that are like, "Oh my God, look at this lady! She has big tits. We gotta say some stuff about her." It's like, and then they give her an extra excuse. Now you got packets of her milk juice, and it's like, yeah,
Algebra.
yeah, it is.
So what you're saying is women with big breasts should donate milk?
No, there's a whole bunch of goofballs out there that are fucking.
How does this happen?
I don't know.
All right.
It's the
Anyway.
stream within the stream.
It is the conversation within a conversation. Yes, it is.
I know what you two are saying. I'm just
Wait, what were
Excuse
you
me.
two talking about?
they're still on the changing the name for
All
Woman.
the academic subjects.
it's
It's Johnny
stupid.
Hellcat's fault. He's the one that mentioned algebra.
Algebra. Goddamn awesome.
Johnny Hellcat.
You're
I'm
well
gonna
played,
shake
sir.
my fist. He's the one who made the split timeline.
Can I have a
Geometry.
button to anybody that says
Hold on. Johnny Hellcat is the fucking the cat from
SNL?
Inspector Gadget.
Or I thought he was like Toons the driving cat, but I guess it's another cat.
Inspector
What is-
Gadget
what is-
had a cat?
Hold on, what's Toots? Oh, wait, okay, whoa. What's Toots the cat? And yes, Inspector Gadget, Claw, he had a cat. He would be like, next time, Gadget, and there'd be a cat. And be like, yeah.
I thought
And-
he was raising his niece.
What?
Go Gadget.
Oh no, I'm talking about the villain.
Oh.
You know, that movie, the Inspector Gadget movie, had one of the best movie reviews I've ever heard. It was one line for this movie, and it was Go Gadget Crap Fest.
Have any of you seen Top Gun?
The
Top
recent one
I
with
saw the
Yeah.
Tom
original.
Cruise? No, I haven't seen the recent one.
Me either, but I saw the original.
I've heard good things.
I love the original. I want to see the other one, but I've been so not alive. I haven't been able to.
Poor Adam.
What?
Do not blame Johnny because he derailed Adam's train of thought. All he did was put a penny on the track. Awful.
Adam,
Ugh.
I will hurt anyone you want me to.
Hey, well, first off, I'm playing a game at the moment.
We don't want Jenna getting the Tantalus field.
And yeah, Jenna, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
I got you back.
Who's it, Assassin of the Grey? Who is Assassin of the Grey? Get the fuck out of here.
Johnny, that's it. On Thursday, I'm coming on your show and I'm bringing all the.
I like Hate Camel's comment. If I ever
Harry,
have
can
a
I
kid,
borrow your
I'm-
sound machine?
if I ever have a kid, I'm going to use the Zappa method of baby naming. So Dweezil Zappa or Moon Unit Zappa. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to use the shock collar when they hit the boundaries. you mean Hank's? Yeah, Moon Unit
Do you-
Dweezil.
Have you ever heard of blanket training? Is that what it's called? Where if the baby tries to get off the blanket, you like hit it or something?
Well, that sounds fun.
Yeah,
It's-
that's like how I was raised.
It's a psychotic thing, but they try to teach the baby boundaries because, 6-month-old need boundaries,
And use a
Well-
sheepdog.
apparently. Well, I think whoever posted that it's going that way, they're gonna use the blanket training and then the electrical training for their children.
How positively behavioralist B.F. Skinner raised his. Was it his daughter inside a closet?
Why?
He was in the mood, I guess.
What a bastard!
Yeah, that's
No,
not.
he was
that's
trying
not
to
good.
study things. He was he's a behavioralist. He was very popular when I was in college back in the 1800s.
But your
And,
children aren't your subjects.
he was a Harvard psychologist, actually.
That explains it.
He talked about the way that you could condition people, and he invented the operant conditioning chamber. That's what I was trying to remember. And the operant conditioning chamber works like this. And I'll just share this real quick. I'm sorry, I'm not as fast as some other hosts who can share much faster than I can. But that's just because I'm an old senile guy. There we go. All right. And so we see that the rat is on the electrified grid, and it gets conditioned. It either gets food or it gets a shock, and depending on how it responds to things. And so as the rat receives a stimulus, it has to hit the lever. If it hits the lever, it gets food. If it doesn't hit the lever in a certain amount of time, it gets an electric shock. It sucks to be the rat. Okay. And he raised his daughter in it. It wasn't exactly like this. It wasn't electrified or anything, but it was a very, it was a very rigorous environment. In fact,
my question is, where was the mother?
My thought is he probably didn't have to ask her to bring him a beer more than once.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no kidding. And I'll bet the love was real.
Yeah.
She's
a good listener.
She's a good listener and very trusting. Really trusting.
Yeah. Minions of the Zoo does not endorse this as a child raising technique.
Did you ever? There was.
Well, anyway, what I'm trying to get to, Jenna, is something that you brought up. So, an important factor of operant conditioning is its ability to explain learning in real life situations. From an early age, parents nurture their child's behavior by using reward and praise, following an achievement, crawling, taking first step, which reinforces such behavior. When a child misbehaves, punishment in the form of verbal discouragement or removal of privileges are used to discourage them from repeating their actions. Skinner's studies on animals and their behavior laid the framework needed for similar studies on human subjects. And based on his work, development psychologists were able to study the effect of positive and negative reinforcement on humans. Skinner found that the environment influenced behavior, and when the environment is manipulated, behavior will change. From this, developmental psychologists proposed theories on operant learning. When you hear the word operant learning, think you're going to get hit on the head for doing something wrong. When I hear the word operant learning, that's what that means in children. This research was applied to education and the treatment of illness in young children. Skinner's theory of operant conditioning played a key role in helping psychologists understand how behaviors learn, blah, 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 blah. And where this has interesting application in the real world, it's been used in things like games, like online games, or sometimes, those are examples of human devices that use operant schedules of, reinforcement to reward repetitive actions. Think about what you do in a game and think about how you're rewarded. And what those rewards do is they stimulate neural hormones in your central nervous system that make you feel good, make you feel relaxed, happy, rewarded, trusted. You feel a sense of belonging. You're getting dopamine, serotonin hits that make you feel secure and happy when you're playing games. So that's how people become addicted to games. They don't want to do anything else. They just want to get high and play games, and so forth. Slot machines, the same thing. It's just a much less sophisticated game, much simpler game, basically, but rewards the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
I have two things.
Go on. Yes, please.
One, another thing that apparently is addictive are those energy drinks.
Yes.
They're very addictive. My mom deals with some people drink like 6 or 7 a day.
Yo, hey,
only 6?
Well, more than that, but I didn't want to.
Everybody could find themselves a vice that takes hold. It could be every day you got to go to Starbucks and get 1 or 2 drinks.
Exactly the same thing. Yes.
I am a
Or
New
it could be-
Englander.
Or it could be you're going and grabbing a couple of scratch tickets and a cheeseburger, like it could be anything, like people
Yeah.
have their complimentaries. The thing is whether or not they can control it. And I think that's where a lot of people fall short, is they let their indulgences get the better of them.
Oh yeah, very definitely. It can take you over.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to piss off the gamers. I just it's just an example of how you can get addicted to an activity that is pleasurable, makes you feel good. People get addicted to eating, strong drink, whatever. They get addicted to sports. They you know
Yeah, I guess anything is addictive.
variety of things. There are a variety of things.
The other thing was back to the child thing. It was early 19 something. A couple raised their son with a monkey or an ape or some kind of whatever monkey species.
What?
It was with the chimpanzee. That's what you're thinking of?
What?
Chimpanzee? That's right. The
was it a chimpanzee?
And that child's name
on
was
June
Amber
26th.
Heard. Sorry.
No, on June 26th, 1931, comparative psychologist Winthrop Niles Kellogg and his wife welcomed a new arrival home. Not a human infant, but a baby chimpanzee. The couple planned to raise one chimp, Gua, alongside their own baby boy, Donald, as later described in the Psychological Record, which is a psychology journal at the time. The idea was to see how environment influenced development. So this is what actually led to people like B.F. Skinner. This was early behavioral psychology. And could a chimp grow up to behave like a human or even think it was human? What I want to know is, does the boy think like a chimp? And anyway, Kellogg had wanted to do this for a long time. He was fascinated by wild children and wanted to know what happened, if they had no human contact, kind of a romantic sort of a fantasy. And they just tested and tested and tested their son
for like 15
chimpanzee
months.
Gua. Yeah, it was actually for 9 months. And they raised the two babies in exactly the same way, in addition to conducting an exhausting list of scientific experiments that included all the things you can think of, things like blood pressure, memory, body size, scribbling, reflexes, depth perception, vocalization, locomotion, reaction to tickling, strength, manual dexterity, problem solving, fears, equilibrium, play behavior, climbing, obedience, grasping the language, comprehension, attention span, and so many more. And for a while, Gua actually excelled at these tests compared to Donald. So Gua got off, to a strong start. But eventually, Gua hits this cognitive wall. No amount of training or nurturing could overcome the fact that genetically she was a chimpanzee. She plateaued. Right, exactly. And it was interesting because it was that experiment had succeeded better than any study before its time in demonstrating the limitations heredity placed on an organism, regardless of environmental opportunities, as well as the developmental gains that could be made in enriched environment. It's actually a pretty fascinating story. At least I think so. And interesting thing, the authors mentioned that Gua showed no signs of learning human languages, but her brother, in quotes, Donald, the human child, had begun imitating Gua's chimp noises. In short, the language retardation in Donald may have brought an end to the study. He wasn't talking, but he was making chimp noise. Anyway, I just
Yeah, the mom pulled the plug.
Yep.
It's a very interesting story, but it's also some people shouldn't be allowed to have kids.
Oh, I agree.
You're gonna
like the kid who shot up the Uvalde school. He should not be allowed to have kids. I think.
I don't think he
Or
can have kids now.
Oh, yeah, he could have conjugal visits if he gets life without parole. He could conjugal.
I think he's dead, isn't he?
No, I think he's in custody.
You know, they took him into custody. I hadn't heard that they killed him.
The guy from
I'd be in favor of it.
The Texas school?
Yeah, the Texas school.
With the he's not dead?
No, not dead yet.
I thought he was killed. So they just sat there, listened to, and then took him in peacefully?
I think he gave up, didn't he? Or did they shoot him?
I think they shot him.
Am I getting this mixed up with, there was another school shooting where the kid gave up?
Are you thinking of the Florida guy?
Yeah, Ocala.
Oh,
Ocala,
I don't want to say his
Florida.
name.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was saying Uvalde. I meant Ocala, Florida shooter. I'm sure that's what I meant. Because, and that was just a drive-by shooting. But that was it. That was an interesting one because they had tape of the guy entering the school and going in. Anyway, I didn't mean to get off going down that. But at any rate, there have been some school shootings where the kid gave himself up. And,
yeah, the one in Florida, the Buffalo killer.
Oh, not Ocala, Lakewood shooting. Is that the Florida? God, when you type in Florida school shooter, too many.
I'm talking about Parkland.
Parkland.
That happened on Valentine's Day, 2018.
Stoneman Douglas High School shooting. I think that's it. And
in Parkland, Florida.
It's kind of weird how it was the same kind of situation.
Yeah, he was arrested without incident. So he could have kids. This his name is Johnny Asshole, and Johnny Asshole could have kids. You know, with the conjugal visits.
Wait, that's his name, Johnny Asshole?
No, yes, but we're not saying his name.
That is his name. It's a all-purpose wild card substance.
Wow,
he comes from a long line of assholes.
Yeah.
Sometimes when two assholes love each other very much.
Adore your worlds.
Very well done. Yes.
Hey, you know what? I gotta go.
Well, we're about to wrap up here. We're about 1 minute away from wrapping up, Adam. Oh. So, did you have any parting words before you left?
Shit, yeah. Since I already took the step, you know what? Hey, I appreciate you letting me join on a Tuesday.
You're always welcome. You know that.
And
we'll talk about 54 strats next time.
I had a lot of fun chatting with y'all, and I look forward to the next time that we do it again. But like I always like to close out these shows, you know what? Both the panel and the audience, anybody who's watching, love you all and God bless.
Thank you.
And don't pick on him or I'll beat you up.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
All right. Well, we might as well send around the horn. Jenna, did you have any final words you wanted to add as a benediction this evening?
Don't use your child as a test dummy.
As a crash test on me, or just as a behavioral test on me?
Any.
So I think those are words to live by. Harry, any Balmo for us before
Well,
we leave?
there are a few phrases in this world scarier than somebody walking up to you and saying, "I'm with the government and I'm here to help."
Absolutely.
Yep.
And when that snake from the government shows up at your birdhouse, be a roadrunner. That's going to do it for us tonight. Thanks for coming. Thank you, chat, for being here. We do this for you. And thank you to my panel being a part of this. And sorry we only got Serenity for a little while, but at least we did have that. But we're going to call it an evening here at the old zoo. And I'm about ready to, turn in myself. So, I mean, not like to the police or anything, but just turn in. So anyway, for tonight, the zoo is closed. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.
Right.
Sleep tight.